Globally, the world has seen the rise of the cancel culture. It's not just particular to Nigeria or a particular region, where a celebrity or a public figure does or says something, and then the next thing you have something offensive, and then the next thing you have is a public outlash. It's usually followed by a progressive social media, attack on the person, and then the call comes to cancel the person, um, close out whatever deals he has, or withdraw whatever endorsement deals that he has with any brand, he or she has with any brand, end their career, revoke their cultural cachet, boycott one thing or the other. And we've seen how this, even though it started with celebrities, has now transitioned into the normal, life with non-celebrities as we find these days. I read of a report of a girl who was attending prom and wore a culturally inappropriate dress for prom, and she had over 18,000 people send her, that backlash, hateful comments, and all of that because of the mistake that she made when she wore the dress, the wrong kind of dress, to prom. But the thing is that the concept of cancel culture is really not new. Um, Maybe it's now been really emphasized based on the social media issues that we have these days. But we've seen that societies in time past have always used, humiliation and social exile as a way to sort of instill moral conformity with its people, its members, its constituents since the beginning of time. If you take incest, for example, it's morally reprehensible to a lot of people in most societies, and whether it's being frowned upon or is something that is actually in legislation, suppression of that particular practice is not widely accepted. So society in time past have been doing this, and it's important that we know that cancel culture is not something that is new. It's not something that the millennials just brought about. It's been something that has been on since. But more importantly, to note that cancel culture is not activism, because people always um, go into the divide where they speak about cancel culture and, oh, we're trying to fight for the right of this. You cannot drive social change by humiliation. Over 95% of the cancel culture campaigns that you see there is targeted towards the humiliation of the particular person, or the brand that, if it's a brand in this example, or if it's a person, it's towards humiliation of that person. Humiliation is not a driver of social change, and it's important that we understand that you cannot drive the change that you need by pushing forward the agenda of cancel culture. And then it's alarming that cancel culture is teaching us, one thing, that if someone does something wrong, you need to stop supporting them. Forget if they apologize, about the issue or not. Forget if they try to correct their behaviors or not. I mean, they should have known, to do the right thing before. But if I take our minds back to when we were all kids growing up, if really we have this mentality of the cancel culture in our minds, how would it have been, the days when, I mean, our parents really should have cancelled us, the days when we were trying to do potty training and we peed in our underwear or we put in our underwear, or the days where you failed an exam, and you had an F in the course. Our parents should have cancelled us. But I mean, we saw that we had, for a lot of people, we had a second chance, you had a third chance. For some people, they had a fourth and a fifth chance, to try and make things better. I personally feel that we need to remember that we are humans, and because we are humans, we will make mistake. And it's the same courtesy that we would afford the natural childlike behaviors when errors happen, that we should have afford to everyone. The journey to perfection is not a one day thing. It is something that people constantly work towards to achieve. And so, I mean, to really really address the mental health issues that happens with cancel culture, we see that anxiety and depression is really an all-time high when it comes to this cancel culture, because first off, it's an isolating and lonely journey where you see that everybody has really given up on you. before you even apologize for a mistake that you made, or before you even correct your mistakes. It's a very lonely place to be in. It's a very isolating place to be in. So anxiety and depression is one of the most common mental health issues that we see that is on the rise with the cancel culture.